Ladies and gentlemen, this is absolutely enormous, important, just very monumental news. Horowitz reportedly finds FBI lawyer falsified FISA documents. Washington Post stealth deletes connection to Peter Strzok. This is Fox News. Justice Department Inspector General Michael Horowitz has found evidence that an FBI lawyer manipulated a key investigative document related to the FBI's secretive surveillance of former Trump campaign advisor enough to change the substantive meaning of the document. The show-stopping development comes as Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham told Fox News that Horowitz's comprehensive report on allegation of Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act warrant violations against former Trump campaign aide Carter Page will be released on December 9th. That's locked, Graham said, so December 9th is when the IG report will come. Shortly after that, maybe before Christmas, they're scheduling the impeachment for a phone conversation where President Trump there's no bribery because President Trump gave the assistance. President Zelensky stated there was no leverage and there was no pressure. And, guess what? A whole bunch of diplomats whose sole job is to simply serve at the pleasure of the president and implement the foreign policy of the president sitting in the Oval Office. That's their only job. Their opinion on phone conversations is completely and utterly irrelevant. If they were so intelligent, they wouldn't. Whatever. We can go on forever. Where were these people when Bush was engaged in never-ending quagmires, or President Obama decided to engage in a failed NATO intervention in Libya? Where were these people coming out of the woodwork saying, I listened to this phone conversation and it's just horrible, I disagree? So they're going to impeach President Trump on this nonsense, basically hearsay and gossip of a whole bunch of disgruntled diplomats. The underlying issue here, and we'll see in the Senate when the Senate will not convict Trump, so he's going to stay in office. It'll be another failure for Democrats. But President Trump wants a full trial, which means that that every single conflict of interest regarding Vice President and his son, Hunter. So every single conflict of interest, from the fact that the Ukraine has widened its probe on the corporation paying Hunter millions of dollars, to the fact that, Biden forced another country, literally, you're talking about quid pro quo, forced another country to fire a prosecutor that happened to be investigating the corporation funneling millions. There's also other conflicts of interest. Anyway, even the impeachment witness yesterday stated the same thing regarding the Ukraine. Ukrainian officials bet on the wrong person. They bet on the wrong horse. They believed, as did other people, that Clinton would win. Anyway, that's a whole other story. So you'll have December 9th, the FISA report. So the IG report's coming out December 9th. December is going to be just an amazing month. December 9th, you'll get the FISA report. You're going to get President Trump impeached, which is nonsense. He'll win at that also. He'll actually win being impeached. That's how Democrats are so corrupt. They're failures at corruption. But anyway, so December 9th, and then right before Christmas, you'll get President Trump being impeached. They've already scheduled it. Even CNN was like, before Christmas. And the Senate will defend President Trump. But now you have even more evidence pertaining to this, very likely why they haven't charged McCabe yet. The new evidence concerning the altered document, which was related to the FBI's FISA court warrant application to surveil Page, is expected to be outlined in Horowitz's upcoming report. CNN first reported the news, which was largely confirmed by the Washington Post. So this is against the law. This is breaking the law. You can't falsify the application. You can't falsify any information. The Post, after publishing the story, conspicuously removed the portion of its reporting that the FBI employee involved was underneath Peter Strzok. We're not talking about Miss Page. We're talking about another lawyer who was underneath Peter Strzok. The FBI since fired head of counterintelligence. The Post did not offer an explanation for the change, which occurred shortly after midnight. Of course, the Washington Post is a mouthpiece and an extension of the Democratic Party and very corrupt intelligence officials. Earlier this week, the DOJ highlighted a new slew of anti-Trump text messages sent by Strzok when he was leading the Hillary Clinton email investigation and the probe into the Trump campaign. Even more anti-Trump text messages, in addition to the text message that should have already landed Strzok, already indicted Strzok. We will stop Trump. We'll stop Trump. And then he says, well, I didn't really mean it. I don't remember writing that. He was in charge of the Clinton email probe along with McCabe and Comey. They all covered up Clinton's crimes. When people say, Goodman said she'd be indicted. When a person commits crimes and they happen to be a Democrat, other Democrats say, well, you know what? It's just absurd to even think that she would ever been indicted. Yes, she committed crimes, but that's just the way it goes. No, sorry. I don't live like that. If you live like that and you say, she wasn't indicted, H.A. Well, you do agree that she committed crimes, right? So why does she have a get out of indictment card? Why? So when I was saying that, I was on the left. I was the biggest Bernie Sanders booster on the internet, according to the Huffington Post, the unofficial scribe of Sanders' most hardcore voters, according to the Washington Post. And I was writing in The Hill, I was a contributor to The Hill, the Huffington Post, and Salon, about Clinton transferring top secret and special access program intelligence that's not lawful. It's not even feasible. It's not even, from a cybersecurity perspective, there's no way to transfer the top secret intelligence. She was able to do so with no repercussions. James Comey and Strzok, they all know. They know that there was damage to national security, but they don't care because it's a political machine that they're part of. So Clinton should have been indicted. And Clinton will eventually, when she loses the election again, because she's going to run again and lose again. She'll be the nominee, obviously. The DNC is bankrupt. Biden is losing money every month. He's not going to have any more money after Iowa. So anyway, all of this, from the Steele dossier to impeachment to this nonsense, all of it was to pave the way for Clinton 2020. But here, Horowitz reportedly found that the FBI employee who modified the FISA document falsely stated that he had, quote, documentation to back up a claim he had made in discussion with the Justice Department about the factual basis for the FISA warrant application. They made it up. They made up everything. And the funny thing is that there's actually a legal statute, the 18 U.S. Code 371 statute. It is a statute that says if you utilize the United States government for any corrupt purpose to defraud the people of the United States, that is against the law. That is what they tried to use against Trump. That's what will all do them in. I write about this in the Federalist. My writing below in the Federalist is in the pinned comment below. Here, Horowitz reportedly found the FBI, we'll read it again. An employee who modified the FISA document falsely stated that he had documentation to back up a claim he had made in discussions with the Department of Justice about the factual basis for the FISA warrant application. Then the FBI employee allegedly altered an email to substantiate his inaccurate versions of the events. Do you want to know what's going to happen? You remember when they said, this person's going to flip and sing? Well, this person who altered the evidence or altered the application said that they had evidence is going to flip and sing on Strzok. They're all going to turn on each other. John Durham has already put FBI officials in jail, in prison. So definitely put one in prison. FBI agents manipulated Flynn file as Clapper ordered, as James Clapper ordered. So it's all going down. I mean, look, this is unbelievable. So this was in October. FBI agents manipulated Michael Flynn file. So sources told Fox News last month the U.S. Attorney John Durham's separate ongoing probe into potential FISA, FBI, and Justice Department's conduct in the run-up of the 2016 election has transitioned to a full-fledged criminal investigation. The criminal investigation is now an enormous criminal probe because you have people who did things at the behest, because Strzok ordered them to do so. No one's going to falsify documents on their own. They're going to be told by their superiors at the FBI. This is not rocket science. This is not rocket science. This is so easy to understand. This is so simple. Even a Democrat could get this. This is so easy to understand. Durham has reportedly taken up Horowitz's findings concerning the falsified FISA document, meaning the ex-FBI lawyer who made the changes is now under criminal investigation. Under criminal investigation. Durham has now taken up Horowitz's findings concerning the falsified FISA document, meaning the ex-FBI lawyer who made the changes is now under criminal investigation. So the person who made the changes, falsifying information for the warrants, who worked under Peter Strzok, is under criminal investigation. Now, what does that mean for Strzok? Na 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 na. It means that Strzok is under criminal investigation. More or less, he's under criminal. Well, there's also an FBI review going on regarding Strzok right now that Christopher Wray talked about. And that was under oath with Doug Collins. So, Republicans have long argued that the FBI's FISA violations, which came as the Bureau aggressively pursued ultimately unsubstantiated claims of criminal links between the Trump team and Russia during the 2016 presidential election, were politically motivated. In recent months, a slew of unearthed documents have strengthened those claims. Strengthens the claims that it was complete nonsense. Just 9 days before the FBI applied for the FISA warrant to surveil Page, Bureau officials were battling with a senior Justice Department official who had, quote, continued concerns about the possible bias of a source pivotal to the application, according to internal text messages. Look, the 2016 messages sent between Lisa Page and FBI Director Andrew McCabe also revealed the Bureau brass circulated at least 2 anti-Trump blog articles, including a lawfare blog sent shortly after Election Day that called Trump possibly among the major threats to the security of the country. These people have what they claim is a national security threat really is a political threat to them. So when they say, oh, Trump is a major, major threat to the democracy, that means that they're losing politically. They're losing influence politically. So here we have the person who falsified information is under criminal investigation. This is a criminal probe. They're all going to turn on each other, and eventually they're going to implicate, guess who? The Golden Muumuu. That's right. She's going to run again, and it's going to be one of the best days in American history. Clinton will run again because Biden is not going to become nominee. He doesn't even want to. Bernie and Warren don't even want to either, really. The whole thing's a farce. Actually, this Democratic primary is even more rigged than the 2016. 2016, with the DNC emails showing that forcing Debbie Wasserman Schultz to resign in disgrace because of the Russians hacking the DNC to inform the country that Bernie was cheated. This is the big assault on democracy. Are you kidding me? So you had, Dr. Hill, the witness, and I have a segment out later today talking about how they basically admitted that there's no certainty in stating that the Russians interfered in the election. What they're saying is it's been confirmed by intelligence agencies and then confirmed again by Congress. The only problem is they use the word confirmed for an opinion. It is confirmed of the high confidence assessment, yes. It is confirmed that the intelligence community or the intelligence agencies under Clapper, Brennan, and Comey all believe, not certain, but they're confident. They're moderately to highly confident that Russia interfered in the election and that Russia hacked the DNC and bought Facebook ads. That's nonsense. The whole thing is so absurd. If you heard this 10 years ago or even 5 years ago, 6 years ago, before social media really warped the minds of people on the left, if you heard this 20 years ago, you'd laugh. You'd be like, oh, this is hilarious. They're only doing this. Nobody would believe it. They're only doing this to cover up their own crimes. That's what you'd say. The FBI falsified claims. John Durham is going to indict a number of people And when people say, well, you said Clinton was going to get indicted. Well, you know what? I didn't know of, it's not like I work at the FBI and I know that the top level was completely crooked and completely corrupt and completely beholden to one paradigm that said we must protect Clinton and go after Trump at all costs. The greatest cybersecurity debacle of all time was Clinton using servers outside the United States government. That was the greatest cybersecurity debacle of all time. Even Michael Hayden said and also Robert Gates said the entire planet hacked into her servers. She had 22 top secret emails. She had 2,000 plus classified emails. Guess what? Read my books on Amazon, but her top secret emails, but her deleted emails. And Debunking the Trump-Russia Myth. They're on Amazon in the pinned comment. If you're bored this weekend, if you have Kindle, go ahead. And everyone loves them. The reviews are fantastic. They'll explain exactly what went on and exactly why it's the greatest cybersecurity debacle. She managed to have autonomous servers as Secretary of State, receiving top secret intelligence. Imagine if Aldrich Ames and Robert Hansen. Look up who Robert Hansen of the FBI and Aldrich Ames of Brennan's agency. Look them up. And imagine if they had private servers. And Clinton had private servers. No, okay. Look. All of this is a cover-up, but it's not just a cover-up of Clinton's crimes. It is a cover-up of they were trying to implement they were trying to keep a foothold on political influence, and they saw that Trump they couldn't stop him, so they fabricated and they set up and they framed him. That's what took place. They framed Trump, and now what they didn't realize was he's going to go for 8 years. The economy is great. Foreign policy is scaling back, which is what Americans want. Record low unemployment, record high in the stock market. So you can't say the economy's not good when there's record low unemployment and record highs in the stock market. Because if there's just record highs, you could say it's a bubble. If just record low in unemployment, you could say, well, but there's issues with business. Well, actually, you couldn't say that, but you could say, the stock market's not doing well. This is amazing. This is an amazing economy. A much better economy than at any point under President Obama's tenure or President Bush's tenure, and a better foreign policy than the past 16 years also. But like Tulsi Gabbard said, Clinton is the personification, the embodiment of failed foreign policy decisions. That's why people would go from Trump to Tulsi or Tulsi to Trump. That's why. Because if foreign policy is your issue, she's the only Democrat there that is talking about foreign policy. If foreign policy is the biggest issue to you, especially scaling back U.S. foreign policy and bringing Americans home, that's what you do. But see, again, the Comey, the Strzok, McCabe, the Clapper, the Brennan, all those types of people, they're used to Bush and President Obama. They're used to that paradigm. They're used to, you can't have an orange menace who tweets a lot and, upends the apple cart, and he's very, very vulgar, and oh my God. They would rather destroy a country with a failed NATO intervention in Libya, which is what President Obama did, which is worse than anything Trump has ever tweeted or ever done. Infinitely worse. But see, people don't get that. The Obama administration helped essentially destroy Libya. But Trump's tweets are where it's at. And what he said possibly during a meeting, that's even a bigger story. So give me your thoughts below. They falsified records. This is just one of many things that we're finding out. And John Durham already put an FBI official in prison. Or actually numerous officials. So give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right now. It's pretty amazing, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about it. It's pretty amazing that we're slowly finding all of this out. And we're slowly finding all of this out because, there's tens of thousands of emails, text messages. They documented their crimes. But it took a long time for a criminal probe to start. It took a long time for William Barr, yet Sessions for 3 years. So all those people who told you to trust Sessions, you know that they were duped / had an agenda or whatever. Mainly, most of the people were just duped into believing that, and I debunked that a long time ago. It's nonsense. It was always nonsense. Sessions was the worst Attorney General of all time. But anyway, William Barr, you now have John Durham. December is going to be a big month. You're probably going to see, I have no clue when Clinton will run, but you'll probably see Clinton run. Could be a week before Super Tuesday, but she's running, obviously. She'll become Democratic nominee. Could be in December where she runs. She's the only hope for Democrats. The only hope, and they know this. DNC is already bankrupt. You'll have the FISA report, and then they'll try to impeach, they will impeach President Trump around Christmas time to give themselves a Christmas present. And then Trump will give everyone else a Christmas present when the Senate, he wants a full Senate trial, which will basically illuminate all the conflicts of interest that Joe Biden had, which will then force Democrats to say, gosh, who else do we have? That's right, Clinton. Give me your thoughts below. Check out H.A. Goodman's other channel right this